Back when I played Apex Legends, I would always be afraid that I would run into a sweaty Wraith player with the weird dentist skin equipped, and when I did, I would just immediately doubt my skills as a player and think to myself that I might as well just quit and re-queue again because every time I run into one, they humiliate me. But Sea of Thieves has taught me something different. Whenever I roll up to another boat, I look at the cosmetics that they have and think to myself that those cosmetics don't really mean anything, and you should think the same. Just think about this. You're doing some world events to cash in some sweet loot, but you look on the map and notice that there's a Reaper coming for your exact event, and you immediately tense up. Your heart starts to race, you get tunnel vision, you piss your pants, and in the horizon, you see it. A galleon heading your way. And what other cosmetics do they have other than the good boy cosmetics? You realize you're not going to win this fight, so you might as well quit. And this is what the problem is with many people who play Sea of Thieves. Certain players will mentally handicap themselves when someone rolls up with an exclusive cosmetic or someone rolls up with a bigger boat. That's called a mental block. A mental block's definition is, if you have a mental block about something, you can't understand it or do it because something in your mind prevents you. And that thing in your mind preventing you is your self-doubt. You doubt your skills in the game, so you go out of your way to dodge the fight. But this could actually hurt you in the long run, because you aren't getting the experience you need for future fights like this. Experience is the most valuable thing that you can accumulate in this game, and if you're running away from fights because they look good, then you're never going to get better at the game. And I had these same problems when I first started out too, but I wanted to be better and defend my ship. So how did I deal with these mental blocks? Well, firstly, I realized that the tactics that the other ship might use on me could be replicated in my future fights. For example, a while ago, I strolled up to a Reaper thinking that I could take them on, but when I got to them, I was harpooned off my boat and slashed to death. If I hadn't gotten in one of those fights, then I would never have learned about this tactic. Now I use it all the time, and it saved me on more than one occasion. So if you don't go into battle, then you're never going to learn new tactics after you die. Just don't use this tip in real life fighting. I also realized that I'm at the same exact level of mechanics as I am with my opponent. There's not one thing that my opponent has over me in terms of items besides maybe more hours than me. It could be a really even fight because we all have the same amount of guns, the same amount of damage, and the same fire rate. It only comes down to how much knowledge you have in the game and how well you can use those mechanics. And if you lose, then at least you learned a new mechanic that you can use in the future. And another tip, if it's a bigger boat with 2, 3, or 4 crewmates and they have good cosmetics, this means that only one of them have the cosmetics and the other 3 might be completely new. And if you're lucky, then it's open crew and they all have open comms, but don't be afraid if they have good cosmetics. And lastly, the best way to get rid of your mental block is to just battle. You might surprise yourself with what you can do because it could boost your confidence way up. You have to know that in this game, you will win and you will lose. So if you win, learn what you did right, and if you lose, learn what the other crew did right. It's all about experience and learning from it. If you never get rid of your mental block, it just seems like another advantage your crew has over you. Almost like the other crew has an extra crew member inceptioning you. But there is one type of battle to avoid, and it's in this video right here, so go watch this one next.